In far more visible ways than its economic performance, a community's growth can be measured in the brick-and-mortar units of its expanding neighborhoods, business districts, and retail centers. Communities grow to the extent that their roots do, and no one has helped more families and businesses put down roots in the city of Wichita than Michael and Nestor Weigand. The brothers are, in fact, the third generation of the family roots first planted by John Patrick Weigand in 1902. And it was the potential for growth that their grandfather saw in turn-of-the-century Wichita that inspired him to abandon his career in selling maps for one in real estate.
He officed on the 5th floor of the bidding building so that he could see the trains and the wagon trains coming into Wichita. And he would run down and try to sell real estate on the street, and that's what he did.
By the time Michael Weigand arrived at J.P. Weigand in 1956, his father, Nestor Weigand Sr., and uncle, Gene Paul, had long since added the phrase, "and sons," to the firm's name.
When I got out of the Army, I came down to the office and started working, thinking, well, I'll make a little bit of money and then I'm going to go back and finish school. And I got so into it, I never left.
Nestor Jr. joined his brother just 5 years later and found that Mike had learned a great deal about the family business, knowledge he was more than willing to share with his younger sibling.
I could go to him with anything and ask him any dumb question, and he would just help me get through it. So the first transaction I made was a gentleman I showed the property to 22 times. And finally sold it for $10,000.
Nestor is on the go 24 hours a day. You can come down here and drive down the street at midnight and his light's on in his office. I think he sleeps up there, but he won't admit it. I don't know.
The years of partnership between the third generation Weigands span a period of rapid growth of the family business, making J.P. Weigand & Sons by far the largest real estate firm in Wichita. Along with the firm's growth was the great expansion of Wichita's commercial and residential footprint and a deepening of respect for the Weigand name. Mike played a key role in the development of Wichita's shopping centers, from Normandy to Twin Lakes, the mall on Harry Street, and Town East and Town West. Over the years, Nestor has gone beyond the Weigand offices to lead the Wichita Area Association of Realtors, the Kansas Association of Realtors, the National Association of Realtors, and the International Real Estate Federation, headquartered in Paris, France.
And in that whole community of the real estate experience, that encompasses nearly 500,000 people. And any place you go where the management is around, the word Nestor, they know.
No, Nestor's a wonderful person. He has a great sense of humor. He's very energetic, enthusiastic, very friendly.
But he's also known to be always properly dressed. Suit, white shirt, tie, seems like in any circumstances. My wife Sue and I were at the lounge in O'Hare waiting to connect for the return flight to Wichita, having been back east somewhere. And while we're waiting, here walks up Nestor. Sure enough, suit, white shirt, tie, prim and proper as ever. And we said, "Nestor, where have you been?" He said, "Well, I just got off a flight from Europe." He must have sat up straight like this in the seat the entire 9 hours.
Well, 40 years ago, I met Mike Weigand. I had just begun the development of Clifton Square, and he was kind enough to take me under his wing, and all these years became my mentor. He explained how shopping centers and commercial leases should be, so I have thanked him many times since then.
Michael is smarter than I am, for one thing, without any reservation, and he has been a great mentor for me, because when I came in the business, it was difficult for me, and he made the transition for me much easier.
Mike and Nestor have presided over a portfolio of real estate deals that define much of the community we know today. But they'll be the first to tell you that it's the company they built, and most importantly, the talented people within it, that's responsible for their success.
They conduct a business with great integrity. They have great knowledge of the markets, and and are totally dedicated to their clients' needs and give great service.
I've been impressed with their business model, and particularly that crowd of high-performance people they seem to surround themselves with. It makes me think of my friend Mark Reed out at the zoo, who keeps the tigers and lions and gorillas in order. But in the case of Mike and Nestor, it's Krumzik, Carnahan, Tiedemans, Layhem, people like that.
As hard as the brothers Weigand have worked at deepening the real estate roots of Wichita, they've worked just as tirelessly as caretakers of many of the organizations that enrich the life of our community. At any point in their careers, you could find a Weigand on boards with missions as diverse as the Wichita Symphony, the Chamber of Commerce, and Wesley Medical Center. As an expression of his lifelong commitment to community service, Nestor Jr. mounted a serious bid for the governorship in 1990. And in support of our business community, the Weigands and their agents collaborate to compile Wichita's annual real estate forecast, a prediction of local market performance that has proven to be a valuable planning tool for private and public sector leaders.
When we get commercial prospects, new business prospects, so important to the chamber, to the community. I can't imagine that when Nestor and his people, and Mike and their people are involved, that it doesn't make a really professional, first-class impression.
Wichita is a place that I can leave and go any place in the country, and I'm glad to come back. We really have a neat town.
In addition to the family-like atmosphere you find at J.P. Weigand & Sons, Mike and Nestor treasure their own families as well. Nestor enjoys spending time with his 3 sons. Mike is married to Gloria. Between them, they have 5 children and 10 grandchildren.
Mike is very caring, always wanting to help, always fun, always enjoyable to be with. A great guy.
I would say if we had 1,000 Nestors in Wichita, it may well be the best city in the country.
If home really is where the heart is, the Weigand brothers have invested a lot of heart in finding homes for so many families, businesses, and organizations in Wichita. Their tireless passion for expanding our potential as a community honors their grandfather's enthusiastic faith in our city's future. A future that has been significantly enriched by the vision and commitment of Michael and Nestor Weigand.